Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing this week?
Well, Tyler, as always, I'm here chilling, excited to talk about something very new, something exciting, something we haven't really seen but yet seen in TV history.
That's true. 2021 has officially kicked off, and with that, Marvel Studios, not Marvel Television, Marvel Studios has finally entered the TV arena, and they have kicked it off with WandaVision. A little bit of a mishap thanks to the pandemic. Black Widow was supposed to kick off Phase 4, but hey, it's WandaVision this time. And I did not expect it to be this good.
Yeah, I don't think Marvel at this day and age would do a complete shot movie.
True, true.
A TV show is a whole new element, but then
Mm-hmm.
again, it's a TV show on a master scale. We're talking about a TV show with a movie's budget, maybe more. But yeah, the show definitely is not a disappointment. It's probably one of the better things in 2021 I've been watching.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the issues we've had with Disney Plus is like Mandalorian's great, but it's once a year. What do you have after that? Oh, all the Marvel shows apparently. It's about time they start rolling in. So yeah, I guess one thing I want to start off with, just for this episode, first 5 episodes. So basically the first half of the season. We'll do another episode in a few weeks, recapping everything else with the other 4 episodes. But I gotta say, I appreciate them committing to the sitcom aspect of the show.
Yeah, they
Like
they
they
really
really
go
committed.
they go all out with it.
I
I
mean, the
know
first 2 episodes,
each
the aspect
generation.
ratio, black and white aspect ratio, laugh track, which apparently some of it was done in live audience. It was filmed before Corona. Um, they they committed,
They did.
and you gotta give them credit because you gotta think, you know, the Marvel people that usually watch Marvel are on the younger side, so to get them to commit to sit at least for the first 2 episodes, basically just a Marvel, but in a 50, 60 sitcom style. I do wonder if that was a hard sell to the Disney executives. I do wonder, but I think it paid
Yeah,
off.
but I think Marvel or Disney Studios also realizes that Marvel isn't just like trying to get the kids watching either,
That's true.
because they captivate the adults into it. Because the adults are really what drive their fan base, like the 20 to 40-year-olds. Those are the diehard Marvel fans right there.
Yeah, and they're the ones with money too.
Correct. So I think it's smart for them to pretty much target them as well, because as you get further into the show, this show gets a little dark. Not something you would see in a kid show, for example.
No, it's not. It's like, yeah, I mean, this is, I would say, if we were talking about regular TV channels, I would say this is more of a show that's, say, not on the Disney Channel, but I would say more on FX. FX, yeah.
AMC.
Yeah. Like if you said this was this is leading up to a new Walking Dead episode, I would believe you instead of like I don't a Mickey Mouse episode.
Yeah. Up next, Mickey Mouse Funhouse.
Yeah. Hey, we have a bunch of people kidnapped in this town, but don't worry, Mickey Mouse is here to lighten the mood.
Oh, yeah.
I think
So
another great thing about
episode.
it is the two main characters. I think they've done amazing acting so far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, one of my issues with Infinity War and Endgame was, oh, actually, just Infinity War. Vision was a bitch the entire movie.
Well, I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand, because I feel like the Marvel universe never really knew what they wanted to do with Vision.
That's true.
He was always kind of like a side note, if
Mm-hmm.
anything. It was like, hey, here's this really powerful guy that was literally just created, but we're not really gonna show him do anything except for fight Ultron and wear J. Crew in Civil War.
I mean, yeah, his biggest moment was finishing off Ultron and then dying twice at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah, he kind of peaked early. He peaked the day of his birth. I think that was kind of it.
Basically.
That's a sad life right there. But hey, he's living a new one. And speaking of episode 1, what can I say, man? That's it's just like there's so many different things like where you think the show is going, and then it has those weird moments where you're realizing, wait a minute, this isn't a show. Was that episode 1 where he had the boss over for dinner?
He did, yeah.
And like he started choking and he couldn't stop. And it wasn't until like Wanda told Vision to save him that like he survived. And like his wife was watching her husband potentially die. And the acting of her just saying stop it, but looking more and more nervous at each time.
Yeah,
And
that was
shout out
that was kind of haunting, but now that I actually think about it, because you brought it up, it's all right. So basically, from what I assume from the end of episode, 5, and I think you can come to the same term, is because they make it quite clear everyone in this town is under some kind of spell, like they're forced into it. But depending on what happens, they can start to falter. So when the wife, started to watch her husband choke to death, I just realized now, like, her saying stop to Wanda is because she knows, like, well, she assumes she's controlling everything, so
so
she's telling her to
yeah,
stop it. It's like this show definitely drops a lot of hints that build up over time.
yeah, because like it you realize everything after episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Drawing a blank on episode 2 though. What really happened in episode 2?
Episode 2 was the fair. It was the talent
Yeah,
show,
like
and
the
Vision had gum.
magic show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that episode not much really happened except for the introduction of Captain Rambo.
yeah, and people on the outside trying to make contact. But also, like, another thing I think what the show's doing is it's not just, it's just Vision and Wanda, and how are they coping, and how is Vision alive. It's one thing this is doing better than what the last Spider-Man movie did, is it's showing the after effects of the blip.
It showed it in a lot better way, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So I feel like that was a very standout moment to kick off. That was the third episode, correct, or fourth?
No, start of fourth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, end of the third is when she was kicked out of the
Yes.
town, and then 4 is when it starts.
Yeah, it's weird to think of it like a show because at the end of the day, it feels just like a long mini series of movies. You know what I mean? Like it's all one movie. It's just long.
Yeah, like Spider-Man was like, oh, here's some funny footage of people reappearing in gym class and getting hit with dodgeballs, but like,
Yeah,
well,
in the recklessness of a hospital, that
yeah,
was complete chaos.
actually, you have doctors and patients coming back. 'Cause people are mid surgery. I mean,
Right?
kind of fucked up. Her mother died in like post snap. Well, yeah, and then she didn't even know. You think she's gonna hate Captain Marvel for that? I think she does.
Well, we don't know why. That's another big question: is why does she not like Captain Marvel?
Well, you have to think from her point of view. It's when she last see her since the 90s.
Yeah,
So she hasn't showed up in almost 20 years. Then her, cataclysmic event happens where she was not saved. And because she was not saved, her mother died in the meantime. She never came back to see the mother. And now she's finally back. So, you know, while she doesn't have much of a relationship with Captain Marvel, her mother was best friends with her. And as far as she's concerned, Captain Marvel's a piece of shit friend.
yeah,
Kind of hard to blame her, too. Like,
not wrong.
yeah, I mean, hey, look, now you can give Captain Marvel development in her own movie, but that's a whole other thing. I do like though how they're bringing in other side characters, like Agent Wu. I think it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I also like the small ticks where he learns some magic tricks because seeing
yeah, you
Ant-Man
saw
do it.
that too. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you see him at the end, or at a scene in Ant-Man 2, him watching the how-to magic videos. And it's nice to see his hard work has paid off.
all right, so let's get into questions here because obviously, for the most part, I think the show's pretty great. Who do you think? And because we haven't watched everything yet, who do you think's running the show? Clearly, Wanda has some power, but she's not in control.
I don't know because there's a character we definitely haven't been introduced to yet.
Hmm.
There's an unknown player. Now I know there's a comic answer, which a lot of people are thinking, but we really don't know. It could be, or it could be someone else completely that we've never heard of.
It's true.
Um,
Her neighbor's definitely involved somehow.
oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
What's it, Agnes? Something like
yeah.
that?
Agnes. Like first 2 episodes, I thought she was just a friendly neighbor. Afterwards, like, oh no, 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 you know some shit.
Yeah, because even on the sword wall when they were putting together who everyone is in the town, the missing people, she was never there. Like they don't know who she is.
Yeah, but somehow she's one of Wanda's closest friends in the town.
Yes,
Yeah,
who lives next door and kind of knows what's going on with Wanda and doesn't think twice. In
yeah.
fact, comments on it. But that's where episode 5 really kicked things into 12th gear. because you have a multitude of like like a volcano exploding. Vision finding out that Wanda is behind what he thinks is everything, the entire world they're living in, because he has that huge moment with his co-workers, and even the kids pointed out to some extent, because her kids were like, "Oh, where's Dad?" And she's like, "Oh, he's at work." So like, it's Saturday. It's like, "Oh yeah, well, they had an emergency at the office on Saturday." Well, your father just needed to get away, so like the time is moving normally. Like each day of the week is a different episode, for example, in real time. So for the kids to even question it, and the kids are only what, a day old?
A day old, but they're like 10 by the end of the episode.
Yeah, because they forced themselves to grow in order to be 10 years old so that they could have a dog. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Her kids might be able to revert death.
See, I thought the kids weren't even real when they were born because like everything in that town's fucked up. I didn't even think the kids are real, but
Yeah,
I guess
no,
they
apparently
are.
the kids are 100% real. And
So she gave birth and she impregnated herself and gave birth herself.
yes,
Twins. I mean, basically,
yes.
I mean, it's Vision didn't do that.
Well, I'd hope not, because Vision, you actually find out he's dead. It I don't know what
Jesus,
his body's doing,
that shot was
but
kind of creepy.
yeah, it was, because that's when everything like collapsed in Wanda's mind for a second.
Mhm.
So she's literally just puppeteering Vision's dead body.
I do find it interesting, though. I believe I heard him right that he mentioned that he doesn't remember a life before Westview. So it's the same
Correct.
body that we have seen for multiple movies, but the memories are not there, or they are there and she's blocking it.
Maybe they're not there because
The stone's gone.
that that mind didn't exist.
To be fair, he
Because
was in
he
multiple pieces before Wanda stole
put
him
them back
back.
together.
Yeah. Also, that
But
head sword guy, he's kind of shady too.
oh yeah, absolutely.
He is
I'm
very quick
I'm
to like, well, we just got to kill Wanda, which sucks, but
I'm getting a very Robert Redford vibe from him.
Mhm. Which on the
And
surface I understand. She has kidnapped an entire town of people, and this is 3 weeks after Thanos came. Thanos died. I get it, but she's an adventure person. Very quick to pull the trigger and get rid of her.
yeah, oh, man, it's just there's a lot going on,
All right.
because it
Yeah.
raises the question: is Vision actually a live Vision, or is it only what she ever saw in Vision? You know what I mean? Like she created a new Vision.
I think we won't know, and they released a special trailer for the midway of the season, where it does look like he does leave Westview and he's collapsing to the ground. I think we won't know until he actually leaves the town. Like if he falls apart
Yeah, I
as
mean,
soon as he leaves, then basically he's only alive as long as Wanda's bubble of
control
Westview. Yeah. Do you think Vision actually makes it to the end of the show? Like, however this
it.
wraps up, the town is saved. Does Vision die in the process because he's not actually back to life?
I don't know, because then we're getting into the future of Marvel. Are they keeping Paul Bentley as Vision? Because if they are, they're going to find a way to write him back in. So maybe that's where Doctor Strange comes in and be like, "Hey, look, this is a multiverse Vision. He never died. I stole him. He's yours now.
Well,
Don't be crazy
I
now.
mean, it's
Screw
good you
that
bring
other
up Doctor
timeline."
Strange because his movie's all about the multiverse and it's going to get pretty creepy. Fucking speaking of multiverse, Quicksilver is up.
Yes, sir. That's
We thought
where I was
Deadpool's
heading
the
to
only one
next.
coming over.
He was in Deadpool too.
Yeah, he was in Deadpool, and we thought Deadpool's the only one making the switch. We were wrong.
Yeah, no, he's just straight up out here, which I did like, because honestly, I enjoyed both of the Quicksilvers.
I did, yeah, that did. Mhm.
Both of them are just absolutely great, and both actually starred in Kick-Ass together,
Oh, I didn't know
which is
that.
another which
Huh?
is another good superhero movie. But yeah, what's interesting is, where did he come from? Is that actually him?
Because they're calling him Peter.
And
So, like
who sent him?
that's the thing. Because like she questions it at first, but then hugs him, and like so she recognizes it is her brother. So
On
she,
some level, yes.
yeah, so she clearly understands it is her brother, but we know it's not. I'm beginning to think Doctor Strange is gonna. I feel an Avenger is gonna
Yeah,
have to show up
so
at the last episode to fix this shit. Sword can't do this.
it's gonna be Cap. Captain's gonna come back like, "Hey,
90-year-old
you
year old
guys
Cap.
fucked up. I was supposed to be retired right now."
No, he's gonna be like, I leave for 3 weeks, It all
Yeah,
goes to shit. I think if any Avenger shows up, though, it's going to be
essentially.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, most likely
I'm
because he
putting
would
that
be
on the
the
cards.
one.
Yeah. Which is funny. They're getting a lot of use out of him. He's supposed to appear apparently. It's rumored in the new Spider-Man movie. He has his own movie coming up. It's busy
Well,
time for
because
him.
the news, because they have to have Doctor Strange in anything that involves the multiverse, because this man is the one who brought it to us.
Yep. Yep. Which is good. I mean that's his thing. It's
Yeah,
good.
it
It's good they're
definitely
not
is.
shying
I'm
away
glad
from it.
they're not shying away from the multiverse, because that literally DC take hints opens up the door for endless opportunities to make different styled movies that could all be canon but not have anything to do with the other series.
Uh, yes and no. I mean, I'm fine with DC doing the multiverse in part because they kind of fucked up. Marvel doing the multiverse, I'm fine with. My concern is I don't want them to cheat death to do it. It's like, look, I love Paul Bentley as Vision. I think he's a great character. And as much as I hated how very little he got to do in Infinity War, I thought his death was great. And I'm happy I'm seeing another side of Vision with him getting angry at Wanda, him caring about people. I don't want them to be like, oh well, since everyone loved him, here's a multiverse version and he's back. It's like,
Yeah.
or like, well, here's a multiverse version of Iron Man, but it's not Robert Downey Jr. because we can't afford him anymore. It's like, kind of, you ruin those moments down the road.
Yes. I
Like
mean,
the Quicksilver stuff, that's cool because it's a wink, wink. It's a it's a little fun hint
yeah,
at it, but I
he
don't know.
would be coming into the actual MCU now, though.
It's true. God, imagine if Wolverine showed up one more time.
Jesus Christ.
You never know. All right.
Who knows?
What do you not like about the show, if anything?
Oof, that's a tough question.
I have one thing. It's a small thing, but the end credits are way too long. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, do you actually watch those? There's no end credit scene.
No, I don't. But I just noticed when when I leave the episode because I finished watching it and there's like 5 minutes of end credits. I understand it's a TV show, but come on, like
Well,
it's a small thing, but like come on.
that has nothing to do with the show itself. How are you gonna sit there and be like, yeah, the show's great, but you know what? It's a B show because it's got 5 minutes of end credits. Like,
Well, I'm not saying it's a B show because this is just a small nitpick. I'm looking for things to that I don't like about the show. That's something I don't like about the show.
it's not even. I wouldn't even consider that part of the show.
My opinion of the show is not lesser because of the longer end credits.
All right, all right.
If I said sitting and watching all 5 minutes of every episode with the end credits and being disappointed there's no special look, if I said that made the show worse, then fine, give me shit for it. But I'm not.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. One thing I don't like about the show, I don't know, maybe how they're all kind of.
I feel we'll have more complaints depending on how they wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because right now everything looks like it could be great.
Yeah, because I can't really say, maybe now because they're kind of giving you the whole like fuck you about everything. You're not gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of pieces in play in this show to like who's this head sword guy?
Yeah.
Who is he? Like, is he just supposed to be another like Alexander Pierce? Is he supposed to be another like Nick Fury knockoff type of deal? Here's another question. When did Sword even start?
Well, I think you bring a good point. It has to start after the blip, after Infinity War, because it didn't exist before that. And her mother was actually one of the lead people, and she was here after the blip.
Yeah, but how could it start? Because her mother was sick in the surgery, right when the blip happened, and then her mom sick in the sick before the surgery starts a whole like government agency.
Well, the doctor said she was fine for a year and a half, and then the cancer came back, and then she died.
Well, exactly. You're telling me she created.
Look, I'm not saying she's running missions herself, but all right. Actually, no. This brings up a good question. If Sword was made specifically because of the events of Infinity War, how did the Avengers not hear about it, or they heard about it and not give a shit?
Yeah.
Because by the time we see them, 4 years later, they're just moping around the campus.
Well, that was the Avengers campus. They never. We never had.
Well, I know, but like you would think if you want to help rebuild the world in those years, you'd be helping Sword.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it goes to, did Sword pop up like right after the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D., like maybe a couple of years after, or is that a new thing? because everyone else seems like, oh yeah, that's Sword. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, we don't know Sword. The only thing we know about Sword is that like Nick Fury helps runs at the end of Spider-Man. That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of my biggest nitpick with the show is just who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, that's a fair nitpick because the opening to episode 4 was great with the blip, but then she arrives to this, top secret facility. Everything's here. It's like, well, how many people do we have left from the blip? What I missed. I'm like, I'm sorry, who is this organization? But what are they trying to do with Vision? Him in pieces. Like they're trying to make a weapon out of him, right?
That's what I'm thinking too, and I'm thinking he wants to kill Wanda because Wanda knows exactly what they're trying to do with him.
I thought his powers though came from the stone.
Yes.
So there's not much in the body that could be a weapon. Like if they wanted the stone, I get it.
Except for the fact that he is 100% vibranium.
That's
and
true.
He is the first artificial body ever made. There's a lot to know and want to know about that to create more things like it, duplicate it, and make their own weapon.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because last time I checked, Vision wasn't in pieces.
I thought he was in the security camera footage.
No, he was in the security camera footage, but when Thanos took the stone from his head, he was still whole, just had a hole in his head.
Yes, and that's how we saw him when they showed his true colors in the show.
Correct. So what was Sword doing with his body torn apart?
See, now I'm curious how I want to put it back together unless someone helped them.
She might be able to mend it together.
Because she broke in, she went to the lab where he was already in pieces. Somehow she got all that out, and then a few days later, the Westview thing happened, and now he's he's all put back together. And I don't think she knows robotic engineering.
No, but she's literally a witch. She's magic.
Yeah, honestly, and maybe I'm nitpicking too far. She just gave birth to twins by herself. So
yeah, she just created two Jesuses.
And she's her own live editor for her sitcom.
Yeah. It's like this woman's doing a whole lot right now.
Whole lot having a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put it past her that she could somehow fuse his limbs back together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward. Do you think this is only one season? I think it's one, right? Just a limited series.
Yeah, I would hope it's just one season.
Because I think for a lot of these shows, like this one in Loki, it's like you're getting top actors. I don't think they want to sign on for a multiple season show. Like they'll do a limited series.
Yeah,
but yeah, you gotta treat this stuff like HBO.
Yeah, it'll make more sense in a limited series anyway.
It would, yeah. It's like what I gotta watch 2 seasons of WandaVision before I can watch this movie.
Yeah, no, you'd be able to watch WandaVision. But I'll tell you one thing: WandaVision has definitely got me hyped for their other shows.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Loki more now, seeing what they've done with this.
Even the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's starting to look pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's looking good, but I don't know. For me, it's more Winter Soldier stuff. Basic. Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an awesome action show. I don't think there's going to be anything crazy going on like Loki or WandaVision.
Honestly, considering how dark this show might go, I think a lighthearted, action spy stuff, I think might be just what we need.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a happy ending for Wanda and Vision. I really don't. And knowing it leads into Doctor Strange too, it's...
Yeah. Vision's not coming out, I don't think.
I don't think so. I don't think he makes it.
Nope. I think she realizes that in order for, to defeat the final boss at the end of the season, she's going to have to let Vision rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. I do like the new trailer. Bucky and Sam are getting counseling. That's what Wanda needs right now.
Yeah.
At least someone's getting it.
Yeah, I'm glad that their rivalry is still going on though. That's a nice carryover that they did. Because they were never best friends.
No, they weren't.
But hey, we've got a lot to look forward to.
Oh, this year's going to be a lot of Marvel content to talk about, which is good.
It's about time.
It's about time.
But have you guys seen WandaVision yet? Are you going to? Tell us what your thoughts are about it. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. Are you guys excited for the other Marvel shows coming out? Feel free to tell us all on our Instagram, Facebook, and you can even check us out on YouTube, all under the name Entertainment Expansion. And as always, thank you for listening.